So I already said today's lesson combines 6.6 and 6.8. So 6.6 was when we found two numbers that multiplied to the last and added to the middle. 6.8 is what we did yesterday. It's when we factored by grouping. I should put my name on this, and you should put your name on yours too. So when I find them sitting around, because you don't glue them in, then I can put them back where they go. Okay, today we are factoring quadratic trinomials. So a quadratic means its highest exponent is 2. Trinomial means it has 3 terms. And today we have a leading coefficient greater than 1. So back in 6.6, it was always x squared plus or minus a number times x plus or minus a number. There was never a number in front of that x squared. Today, we have a number in front of x squared. So we are going to use A, B, and C to represent our numbers. That's going to help us know which one's which. The first step of today is to multiply together A and C. A comes from here, and C comes from here. So we are going to multiply our first and our last number together. Then we have to find two numbers now. Instead of just multiplying to the last and adding to the middle, they have to multiply to AC and then still add to the middle. So multiply to the last, add to the middle still. So we have this magic X that helps us kind of organize our thoughts. I'm going to use it throughout notes. You can use it on your assignment if it helps you. If there's another method that helps you, go for it. But it's what we find is the most helpful for organization. So you multiply the number on top, you add to the number on bottom, and I go ahead and write that in there too. Any questions on that? We haven't done it yet, obviously, but any questions on it right now? Okay, so then once we pick those two numbers, here's where the magic happens. We're going to split up our middle term using those two numbers. So we're going to take our middle term and we're going to split it into two terms. So let's say it was 10x. Maybe we'll split it up into 8x plus 2x because that's the same thing as 10x. Then we factor by grouping just like we did yesterday. Once we get to here, it's just like we did yesterday. I added this table in. This table is the same table that tells you whether you should be picking numbers that are both positive, both negative, one positive, one negative, one positive, one negative, and which one should be bigger. So I added this in here just if you still want that to help you. So we're going to go through this process. As we are going, I'm going to try to go as medium pace because I don't want to lose you because I'm going too slow, but I don't want to lose you because I'm going too fast. So you have to communicate if you have questions step by step. If you have a question on step 1, you should ask on step 1. Don't wait until we get to step 4C to be like, wait, where did we get A and C from? Okay? So if you've got a question early on, I'm going to stop a lot of times to ask if you've got questions. Ask early. So our first problem we've got here is 5x squared minus 2x minus 3. The first thing that I always do is I always go label A, B, C. So my A value is 5, my B value is negative 2, and my C value is negative 3. Then I'm going to draw my magic X over here to the side. And I need to find two numbers that multiply to AC. So I'm going to multiply A and C together. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So I'm going to write up here, multiply to negative 15. And then I need to add to my middle number. So I need to add to B, which is negative 2. So I'm down here, I'm going to write add to negative 2. So that's how I use my magic X, is I fill it in like that. The magic X it has no magical powers. It's just a tool to organize your thoughts. It doesn't actually do anything for you. All right. Any questions on where I got negative 15 or negative 2 from? Yes.
So the first one's negative 15, you just times them?
So to get negative 15, and if you want to put a note to yourself, we got that by doing A times C, which was 5 times negative 3. And that's how we got negative 15. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so then you can draw your factor trees if you need to. If you don't need to, that's fine. Sometimes you might need to, sometimes you might not need to. We need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 15 and add to negative 2. Over here, B is what we add to, and AC is what we multiply to. So we need to find two numbers. So since they're both negative, we need to find one positive, one negative, and we need to make the bigger one negative. So what numbers multiply together to be 15 and are 2 apart? So 5 and 3, and then we want to make the 5 negative because we want the bigger one to be negative. So it's going to be negative 5 and 3. Okay. Any questions on why I picked negative 5 and 3? And then you can check real quick. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Okay, so we are done with step 1 and step 2. Step 3 now is we are going to split our middle term. So negative 2x is our middle term. We are going to split it. So we leave 5x squared the exact same. And then instead of negative 2x, we're going to use these two numbers we just picked. We're going to write minus 5x plus 3x. And just kidding, that should say minus 3 at the end. Since it's minus 3 up there, it should say minus 3 down here. Let me find my whiteout. So this right here should be minus 3. All right, so we split negative 2x. What is negative 5x plus 3x? If I were to combine those terms, what would I get? Negative 5 plus 3. I would get negative 2x. So that is the same thing as this. So we are like uncombining like terms. And we strategically choose to uncombine like terms because now we can factor by grouping. And so we make the choice to uncombine like terms so we can factor by grouping. Alex, Manuel, you guys good? Okay, pay attention, focus. All right, so now any questions on splitting that middle term? All right, so now we factor by grouping. So 5x squared and 5x. On today's problems, you're not going to be able to pull out an x squared from the first two. You're only going to be able to pull out an x. So I can divide both of these by 5, and I can pull out an x. So I've got 5x from the first two. 5x squared divided by 5x just leaves behind an x. And then negative 5x divided by 5x leaves behind minus 1. Anytime it completely divides out, it's either going to leave behind a 1 or a negative 1. And then what can I divide 3x and negative 3 by? 3. So I can divide them both by 3. And then 3x divided by 3 leaves behind an x. Negative 3 divided by 3 leaves behind a minus 1. And so then the magic of grouping happens where this and this match up. So those come out first. You write your matching guys first. And then the other part of your answer is your GCF and your GCF. So 5x plus 3. Okay. Questions right now? Okay. We've got two more on the back of here. let's go work on those two. I'm going to wait until I see pencils stop moving. I see a couple pencils still moving. Okay. We good? I see you. Okay. I know. All right. Okay, we've got another one on the back. So we're going to go through the same process every time. A, B, and C. So A this time is equal to 3. B is equal to negative 10. C is equal to 8. We're going to draw our magic X. We need to multiply to A times C. What is A times C here? 24. How'd you get 24? Katie, is that you who said that? How'd you get 24? 3 times 8 is 24. So we're going to multiply to 24. And then what do we need to add to? Negative 10. So it's always our middle number that we need to add to. We don't have to do anything with that. How do we multiply to be positive, but add to be negative?
Oh. Well, negative is negative. So negative equal to positive.
You got it. So what two numbers multiply together to be 24 and add together to be 10? 6 and 4. Then we just make them both negative. So it's going to be negative 6 and negative 4. Because negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. Negative 6 plus negative 4 is negative 10. Okay. Any questions on step 1 or 2? Okay. Step 3 is to split your middle term. So we leave our first term the same, 3x squared. And then minus 10x, instead of writing minus 10x, we write minus 6x minus 4x. You guys could also write, and the plus 8 stays the same. When you split your middle term, it doesn't matter whether you do minus 6x and then minus 4x or minus 4x and then minus 6x. It's the same either way. You'll end up with the same answer. It'll be a different process, but you'll end up with the same answer as everybody else at the end. Okay. So then we factor by grouping. What can we divide 3 and 6 both by? 3, and then we can also take out an x. Yep. So 3x squared divided by 3x just leaves behind an x. 6x divided by 3x leaves behind a 2. Minus 2, sorry. Okay. Then you can ask yourself 2 questions. What can we divide negative 4 and 8 both by? 4. How do we leave behind positive x, though? What do we need to divide by? What? Negative. So divide by a negative 4 there. So what's up? Okay, go sharpen it. You're fine. So negative 4x divided by negative 4 is going to be just that x. And then 8 divided by negative 4 leaves behind the minus 2. And that's perfect because we want it to match. We want it to both be x minus 2, yeah? So you got to manipulate it to make it match. Okay, x minus 2 and x minus 2 match. And then 3x and negative 4 are my GCFs. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to write the rest of that one down. Let me know if you've got any questions. And we got one more to do together. And we're going to have a ton of time to work. And after we get done with this last example, you will have learned everything new that we're doing for Unit 6. questions about that second one? Okay, we got one more. So 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. I want you guys to start filling in your magic x. So figure out, this is my A, B, C. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that. Figure out what you need to multiply to, what you need to add to. Okay. What is my AC in this one? 10. Where'd you get 10, JP? 2 times 5. Awesome. Somebody else, what do I need to add to? 11. Where'd you get 11?
Middle.
It's just the middle number. And since everybody's positive, it's all just positive. Okay, if we need to add to a positive and multiply to a positive, then we just keep everybody positive. Yay. What multiplies to 10 and adds to 11? Michaela? Is that what you were raising your hand for?
Yes. 1 times 10.
1 and 10. You got it. So then we can split our middle term up into 1x plus 10x. Because 1x plus 10x would be 11x. So we'll have 2x squared stays the same. Plus 1x plus 10x plus 5. Out of 2x squared and 1x, the only thing I can divide both of those by is just a x. So all I can pull out is an x. It's going to leave behind 2x plus 1. And then out of 10x plus 5, what can I divide 10 and 5 both by? 5. So I can pull out a plus 5 here. And then 10 divided by 5 would be 2x. What's 5 divided by 5? 1. So if something completely divides out, you got to leave that placeholder 1 there. You can't just you'll never lose a term. So then 2x plus 1 matches. Yay. And then x and 5 match. Or they don't match. They're my GCFs. But they are my other ones. Okay. If I were to multiply these out back in a 2x2 box and then combine terms, I would get this as my answer. We'll talk more about going backwards next week probably. But for right now, we just want you guys to work on factoring. It's a lot of stuff. Any questions right now? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording.